Hi there สวัสดีครับ You are watching Dr. Green channel. Today we are going to show you the solar home UPS or the hybrid solar inverter, which the size, the capacity of this inverter is bigger than the previous model. So the capacity of this inverter is 2 kVA or 2000 VA with the 24 volt system. So for this inverter, for this solar inverter, you need to connect at least 2 battery in series. So you will have 24 volt output from the battery, then you can connect the power cable to this inverter. Then this inverter will start working. And again, this inverter is not only working as the solar inverter. It is not the individual solar inverter, but it is also work as the UPS. So this inverter also can connect to the AC power or the grid power. So it can work as the UPS, then store the energy or store the electricity that coming from the grid into the battery. So once the grid is cut off or black out, then this inverter or this UPS, it can work as the UPS. It will put and switch in the UPS mode and then supply the power from the battery instead of the grid. Okay, it can manage to switch between the grid and the backup power automatically and also very fast. So it can work very well with the computer, the laptop, and also the office appliance and also the other home appliances. And also it has the safety certificate, which is the ISO 9001, okay, on the 2015, and also the IS standard for 14242, sorry, okay, and 12, and also the down here also the standard. Then you can take a look on this and then have more information about the safety that written here. Also the Ministry of Renewable Energy also qualify for this brand, which is very rugged and also can use for 24 hours 7 days, can using all the time, okay. And this also can take the power, the solar power to produce the electricity, then save the money. So make power, save money, as shown on this box. So this is another solution which can help you save money, because this is the off-grid hybrid inverter, which have the capability to take the power from the sun and also to connect with the grid and working as the UPS as well, okay. And this also of course it is able to work in the off-grid condition. So if in the case you use it in the rural area which the grid power is not available, so this can produce the electricity from the sun, okay. So this also can work as the off-grid, just the off-grid inverter as well. And from the information here, you will see the model is the Saver 2000 VA, and this specific for the current, which is the charging current for the solar, which support up to 50 ampere. So in this case, for example, if you use the solar panel like 300 watt, 330 watts, 340 watts, you can connect up to 4 panels or 5 panels if possible, but the total of the current that you connect the solar in a parallel, all the panel parallel, the summation or the total of the current should not exceed 50 ampere. Okay, so maybe in the normal use case, you have to manage which the current must not exceed 50 ampere. So if you have, for example, if you have the panel of 300 watts, the current of one panel is about 8 or 9 amperes. So you can connect up to 5 panels. So 8 ampere per panel multiplied by 5, so is equal to 40 ampere. Okay, so in this case you can connect the 300 watts panel up to 5 panels in parallel together. All right, and the dimension of this inverter is 340 millimeters times 230 and times 260 millimeter. So this is the high width and depth of this inverter, and the weight is 19.3 kilogram, and this is the new batch. Okay, which this model actually has been used in India very long time already, so already reliable and pass all the tests very seriously, so it's come out to the international market. So we brought this product to Thailand, and then everyone who is interested to use the solar energy then can use it, and of course it can use very long time. Okay, because very good quality. And this one just emphasize again, the product is made in India, so from the design it's very rugged, okay, very durable. So okay, let's talk about the feature. So the special feature is okay, I will start with this one because the DC load is optional. So inbuilt the independent battery charger, so this can charge the battery, I mean the power, the grid power can charge the battery, and also the solar charge controller also charge the battery, and these two modules is working independently, but these two is managed by the controller. Okay, these two will manage by controller, but the module itself is separated, so it make the lifetime of this inverter very long. So this is very rugged and very reliable inverter. No need of the stabilizer as charging up to 90 volts in the case of the grid power or the mains supply from the grid is dropped. For example, from Thailand, for Thailand is 220 volts, but the incoming is dropped to 90 volts. This UPS, if it is working as a UPS, it still manage to charge the battery by this incoming voltage. Okay, so if you are using as the office UPS, it will also can increase the working time of your computer, of your printer. So it doesn't matter the solar is available or not, but this also can help to manage to charge if the grid power is 90 volt. Okay, very smart. And also sharing charging with solar and the grid, and also genset, because this, as I mentioned, it can work together between solar and the grid. But if the grid, in the case of the grid, is not available, you have the genset to generate the electricity. So this also can help to save the gasoline. Okay, in the daytime you use the solar, in the nighttime you use the genset, okay, to run and generate the electricity. And for the other features, this has the LCD display as I shown here, and I will bring the camera to see closer of the LCD display status. For the DC load, is the optional, so it's not including in this model. System efficiency up to 90%, very high efficiency. Power saving calculation on the display, and also inbuilt independent battery charger. As I mentioned earlier, this two module is separated, so it helps the life span of this inverter longer. Inbuilt the solar charge controller up to 50 ampere, so please see the reference over here. And no need of the stabilizer as the charging up to 90 volts. So this as I mentioned, if in the case of this inverter not connect to the solar and work as a UPS alone, it also can manage to back up the power in the case of the voltage drop 9 to 90 volt down to 90 volt. Is still managed to charge the battery, so your appliance, your office appliances still can working. And also the power saving up to 100% if you design the system to produce the electricity to sufficient to your loads. So of course it will save up to 100%. Share charging with solar and grid, and also genset, also this managed by the microcontroller, so it will help to choose whether it use the solar, or if the solar insufficient to produce the power to the load, it will combine together between solar and the grid. And of course this also can work with the genset. Noise free and so pure sine wave with less than 3% total harmonic distortion, so very good output and pure sine wave output. Complete protection, this also designed with very safety features, many safety features as we will discuss here. So the first one is overload protection. So once you use the appliance overloading, overcurrent, this will help to cut and also coming with the alarm. Short circuit protection, and also wiring fault protection, which it will appear in the alarm. Okay, so this is the features and the physical information that you will find on this inverter. And in a moment I will show you closer in front of the hybrid solar inverter. Alright, now we are at the front of the hybrid solar inverter. The black button here is the switch on and the switch off button. Okay, and this is the LCD display that we have discussed earlier. So it will keep running page by page, showing the status of the inverter, which showing whether the solar is available and whether it's charged into the battery, voltage of the battery, and also the status of the battery charging, and this already charged. And grid power, whether it's connect or not, and in this case the grid is connected. So if the solar power is sufficient to supply the load, it will not taking any power from the grid. Okay, so in this case that I showing right now is using 100% power from the solar, which I will show you in a short while. Okay, let me adjust the angle of the camera, and then you will see this one is the LED, which which utilize the power output from this inverter. And this is very smart because as I mentioned earlier, this inverter will manage automatically, so you don't need to adjust or choose the switch whether it will using the solar or using the grid power. Okay, so this is the setting as a UPS mode. Okay, so actually it can work as a UPS. It also can work as the hybrid solar UPS at the same time if you connect both grid power and solar power. Okay, for example, if I switch on, okay, when I switch on, it will show the status like this. Input range, it support up to down to 90 voltage input. Okay, because this design to collect the power from the grid even is low down to 90 volt, but the supply output from this inverter will be about 220 volt to supply in your loads. Okay, so this is very good to use as a hybrid solar inverter and also can use as a UPS. Okay, we see together about the status again. Okay, this one is the information which default setting from the factory, the switch, the dip switch setting, which the solar available. Okay, the solar coming with the 1.5 ampere charging current from solar, and this is the battery voltage. Battery already charged, so main disconnect, so it doesn't require any additional power from the grid. Okay, so this one run 100% by the solar. Okay, so let's see at the back of this inverter. So once you set the configuration, it will automatically running, and you don't need to come at the inverter and do the switch on and off to select after that. So this is very convenient. Okay, let's see on the back. Alright, we are at the back of this inverter, and let's see the components one by one. So the first one, the power cable to connect to the battery. So this one is including, and the size is 12 square millimeter. It's big and also is very safe to use with the 2 kVA with the 24 volt system. So again, this one is very big and also very safe with the 12 square millimeters. You can see the comparison with the pen. Okay, the size is quite big. And the next one is the power for the mains. So if you are using as a hybrid solar inverter or the UPS, you just put this cable with the AC input power. Alright, and the next one over here is the PV input. So this one is inbuilt the solar charge controller. So on this point is the positive, and on this end of the terminal is a negative. So every time the installation should check very carefully and tighten the screw. Okay, make it tighten all the screws. This is the positive end, and this is the negative end. All right, and the next one is the output, the AC output, which has the neutral, earth, and line. You have to connect it correctly. Okay, in the middle here is the earth. So for safety, every time use the inverter or the electricity at home, so you also have to connect to the ground or the earth. Okay, and this one is the MCB breaker for the safety. All right, for the dip switch over here, it requires just for the first time to do the configuration of the inverter to fit with your deployments use case. So let's see one by one. So on the left hand side here is the priority switch, which you can choose whether you will maximize the usage of the solar power. So this will keep using the power from the sun and once the sun sets, it still can continue use the power from the battery to supply the loads until certain threshold, and then it will switch to use the grid power. All right, but if you set the dip switch to the grid priority, it will choose to use the grid power once the sun sets. That means the remaining power, the remaining energy will be stored in the battery. So if we set the configuration like this, it is suitable for the location where the power is outage very often. Okay. Next is the switch to choose between the type of the battery. So whether your battery is the lead acid or the deep cycle, or using tubular or the seal maintenance free. Okay, choose it correctly. But most of the time we are choosing the LA for the lead acid if you are using the deep cycle battery for the solar. And here is the selection between type of the load. If you are using the normal individual appliances, you choose the wide range. So if you are using with the computer or the appliance that very sensitive to the voltage, so you have to choose the UPS. All right. So this is the look on the back of this inverter. And the last but not least, you are now seeing the bypass switch. So every time doing the installation, you have to make the output to this position. In the middle position, everything off, so no output. Okay, and the inverter will be off as well. If you push the position of this switch up, it will do the bypass. So as a principle, for the bypass, it will just connect the power from the grid to supply to the load directly. So don't pass anything inside this inverter. So this is very good and very safe design in the case of this inverter or the solar hybrid inverter having problem sometimes. So you just put the switch into the bypass position. Okay, so let's see. I will move back a bit, then you will see how does it work. All right, so now the LED is on. Okay, it's very clear, LED is on. So in the bypass position, all right, the main power will supply to the load directly. It's not passed to this inverter. But if we choose the output position like this, that means these loads, okay, will take care by this inverter or the hybrid solar inverter, or take care by this UPS. Okay, if you want to off this system, you switch it in the middle position. So there are 3 steps here. So for the normal usage, make it like this. All right. Okay, let's see in front again for the wrap up and overall status of this. All right, this is the overall status after we see on the back. Now we understand the principle, how does it work for the hybrid solar inverter. So the screen keep showing because now we connect both solar and the grid power coming into this smart inverter. Then we will see the status in front, the version, the capacity, and also support the AC input, which very smart. Even it's low now, down to 90 volt, it will still like charging the battery. Now the battery just now showing the lead acid, following our setting at the back. So very smart. The battery voltage status of the chart now is already full charged. No, not using the main. Okay, and this is the overall status of this inverter. So let's see again one more cycle for the LED status. Okay, Y range according to our setting, our lead acid. Just now we set okay, the grid priority according to the settings. So if you have any other questions or any doubt or any use case at your place that you want to deploy the solar energy or the solar system, please don't hesitate to reach us for the according to the contact information down of this video, and hope this video will give you some information and also the smart feature of this inverter, which you can deploy at your place, both for the solar and also for the backup purpose. So thank you very much for watching, and see you again in the next video. If you like this video, give us the thumbs up and subscribe into the channel, then it will have the notification when there is new release video, so you can keep in touch with us once we release the new video or the new contents. Thank you very much again for watching, and stay tuned with our channel. So thank you very much and see you again in the next video.